Have you ever stopped to truly consider how the incredible, almost dizzying pace of medical advancements, think gene editing, the rise of AI in diagnostics, or groundbreaking new treatments intersects with our deepest ethical questions?
It's a huge question.
Or how the very practice of medicine, from individual patient care right through to large-scale revolutionary research, is constantly shaped, guided, and even constrained by foundational ethical frameworks.
Yeah.
It's not just a theoretical exercise. It's an immense, often unseen force that dictates what healthcare looks like for all of us.
It's a profound interplay, definitely. The
Yeah.
questions move beyond simply what can be done technologically,
Right.
to critically examining what should be done, how those decisions are made, and the ripple effects they have across individuals, families, and entire societies. This isn't just about science. It's about our shared values and human dignity.
Exactly. That's why we're here. Welcome to The Deep Dive, where we take a substantial stack of information, be it academic articles, cutting-edge research, or even our own meticulous notes, and meticulously extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight.
Our mission is to get you truly well-informed, quickly, on topics that shape our world.
That's the goal.
Our deep dive today is into a particularly fascinating and critical area. We're plunging into a detailed bibliometric analysis of bioethics and medical ethics publications.
Bibliometric analysis
Yeah.
sounds complex.
If you're not familiar with the term, a bibliometric analysis is essentially a scientific X-ray of published research. It maps out the field.
Okay.
And we're specifically focusing on publications originating from Turkey, giving us a unique lens into a region with a burgeoning presence in this field.
So think of it as mapping the intellectual landscape of ethical thought in medicine from a specific, increasingly prominent region. It's like getting a high-level view from above, allowing us to see what ethical questions are being asked, by whom, and crucially, how those discussions are evolving over time. It offers a fascinating glimpse into a nation's ethical compass in healthcare.
Indeed. Through this deep dive, we'll systematically unpack the evolution of this vital field in Turkey, identifying the key academic players and institutions that are driving this research forward.
The who's who, basically.
Exactly. We'll discover the most influential studies that are truly shaping the discourse and uncovering the dominant themes and emerging trends that preoccupy researchers.
Okay.
And, perhaps most surprisingly, we'll even look at how the research itself is being conducted, revealing some significant methodological insights and opportunities for future growth.
So get ready for a journey that connects the often abstract theoretical underpinnings of bioethics with the very practical and often urgent ethical dilemmas faced by healthcare professionals every single day.
Yeah, it bridges theory and practice.
This isn't just about academic papers. It's about the very fabric of how medicine is practiced and how new innovations are integrated into society ethically. What unique challenges and triumphs emerge when ancient cultural values meet cutting-edge science in the realm of ethics. This deep dive aims to map that crucial journey for you.
It's a really important intersection to explore.
That's a powerful backdrop, painting a picture of where we're headed. But before we dive into the specifics of Turkey's research, let's lay a foundational brick. What exactly is bioethics and medical ethics at their core?
Good idea.
Because while they sound similar, they cover a vast and critical ground that shapes every decision in healthcare.
That's a good starting point, yeah. Bioethics and medical ethics are incredibly important fields, both for shaping big ideas and for the everyday decisions doctors and researchers make.
Right.
They're disciplines of immense theoretical and practical significance, fundamentally addressing the ethical issues we encounter across all healthcare services and, critically, in medical research.
So it's not just theory.
No, definitely not. This isn't just abstract philosophy. It directly impacts how care is given, how patients are treated, and how new life-saving treatments are developed and deployed.
So we're talking about everything from upholding patient rights, which is a huge pillar, right? Protecting individual autonomy, informed choice, and personal values.
Absolutely, patient rights are central.
To the incredibly complex considerations involved in clinical trials, where new drugs or procedures are rigorously tested on human volunteers.
Precisely. And the scope truly extends far and wide. Consider fields like genetic interventions, where we're delving into the very blueprint of life itself.
Wow.
Grappling with questions of human enhancement versus therapy, or the ethical implications of altering inherited traits.
Heavy stuff.
Then there's perhaps one of the most sensitive and personal areas, end-of-life care decisions. These are moments where fundamental human values, dignity, and autonomy truly come to the fore, requiring delicate ethical navigation around concepts like palliative care, the right to refuse treatment, or the complex discussions around euthanasia.
Yeah, incredibly tough decisions.
The pressing need for robust research in these domains cannot be overstated. Medical technologies are advancing at an astonishing, almost exponential pace.
It feels like it sometimes.
Right. And concurrently, societal values are constantly evolving, leading to new understandings of health, illness, and individual rights.
Okay.
This rapid change creates an ever-increasing array of complicated ethical dilemmas, making ongoing rigorous research absolutely crucial for responsible progress.
Now, a key part of our deep dive today focuses on Turkey. Why is this region specifically highlighted in this analysis? What makes its academic interest in bioethics particularly noteworthy right now?
That's an excellent question, and it's central to why this particular study is so valuable. The source material highlights an observed significant and sustained rise in academic interest and, consequently, in the number of scientific publications originating from Turkey in recent years.
So they're publishing more?
A lot more. And this isn't an isolated phenomenon. It parallels global trends where countries, especially developing ones, are increasingly recognizing the importance of embedding ethical dimensions into their medical practice and research.
Interesting.
Previous bibliometric analyses have actually hinted at this accelerating growth. For instance, Kirklu's global study in 2019. It specifically cataloged publications with a Turkish affiliation between 1975 and 2019 in the Web of Science database,
Right.
and reported a significant increase. More recently, Roy and colleagues, in their 2023 analysis focusing on medical ethics education, observed a clear rise in engagement in ethics education across medical curricula in countries like Turkey, India, and Pakistan.
So it's becoming part of the training, too.
Exactly. It suggests a strong, conscious commitment to integrating ethics into medical training from the ground up. So the current study we're dissecting builds directly on those earlier observations, providing a much more comprehensive and systematic analysis, specifically focused on Turkey-affiliated publications, giving us a clearer, more granular picture.
So the core purpose of this deep dive, or rather the specific aim of the study we're dissecting, is to provide a comprehensive bibliometric analysis of Turkey-affiliate bioethics and medical ethics literature. When they say they want to determine its conceptual structure and intellectual framework, what exactly does that mean they were trying to figure out?
At its heart, their primary aim was to map out what researchers in Turkey are thinking about, how their ideas are interconnected, and who the key intellectual influencers are.
Like a mind map of the field.
Sort of. When they refer to the conceptual structure, think of it as identifying the main thematic neighborhoods or clusters of ideas that researchers are focusing on, like clinical research ethics or end-of-life care.
Okay.
The intellectual framework goes a step further. It's about uncovering the foundational texts and authors that underpin these discussions, essentially tracing the intellectual lineage of the field.
Got it. So the key thinkers and papers.
Exactly. This isn't just about counting papers. It involves systematically looking at trends in publication volume and citations over time, identifying the most prolific institutions, the academic powerhouses, the specific journals where this crucial research is being published, and the individual authors who are contributing the most thought leadership.
So more than just counting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Beyond simple quantitative counts, they utilized advanced analytical techniques like co-occurrence and co-citation analyses to truly understand the deeper intellectual landscape, the underlying ideas, the foundational works, and how they interact to shape the field.
Right.
This systematic approach provides a valuable reference point, not just for academics in Turkey, but for anyone seeking to understand the ethical trajectory of medicine in this region and beyond.
To truly understand these findings, we need a brief peek behind the research curtain. How did they actually conduct this analysis, and what were its inherent boundaries or limitations?
Okay, the methodology. They obtained data from the Web of Science, or 1S, Core Collection Database.
What RAS? I've heard of that. It's a big one, right?
It is. It's highly respected and widely recognized for bibliometric studies globally, renowned for its extensive coverage of high-quality, peer-reviewed journals. The researchers initiated a broad search using keywords like bioethic and medical ethic, which initially yielded a massive data set of over 26,000 publications.
Wow, that's a lot.
Huge. They then meticulously refined this by including only specific document types, article, review, and early access to focus on core research outputs.
Okay, filtering it down.
Exactly. And crucially, they filtered specifically for publications affiliated with Turkey, using both Turkey and Turcos to ensure comprehensive capture. This careful process resulted in a robust data set of 181 publications for the main analysis.
181, still a decent number. And once they gathered all this data, what sophisticated tools did they use to crunch it and reveal these intricate connections and structure?
Right, the tools. They employed bibliometric software, which is designed specifically for this kind of bibliometric analysis.
Okay.
This software allowed them to perform what's called co-occurrence analysis. Imagine you're looking at a night sky filled with stars, where each star is a keyword.
Right.
Co-occurrence analysis identifies thematic clusters, or constellations of ideas, by examining how frequently keywords appear together within the publications.
So if keywords keep showing up together.
Exactly.
What?
When keywords like informed consent and clinical trials consistently appear in the same research papers, it strongly indicates a shared conceptual focus, revealing a specific area of intense ethical discussion.
Makes sense. And the other one, co-citation.
Right, co-citation analysis. This method maps the intellectual structure of the field by looking at which documents are cited together. If two academic papers are consistently referenced in the same list by subsequent researchers, it suggests they are conceptually linked.
Ah, like they're part of the same conversation.
Precisely. And perhaps foundational to a specific argument or an entire subfield. Think of it as tracing the intellectual lineage or family tree of ideas within the field. Combining these two methods offers a truly rich, multidimensional understanding of both the thematic development and the foundational theoretical underpinnings of bioethics and medical ethics research in Turkey.
So this sounds incredibly thorough and insightful in its approach, but every study has its boundaries, right? Were there any inherent limitations to this particular analysis that listeners should be aware of?
Absolutely. And this is a crucial point for you, our listener, to keep in mind for context. The study exclusively utilized the Web of Science Core Collection database.
Only WAS.
Only WAS. While WAS is undeniably a gold standard in academic indexing, this means that any publications not indexed there, for example, those found only in other major databases like Scopus or PubMed, or perhaps important regional journals not covered by WAS, were inherently excluded from the analysis.
So it might miss some things.
It could. This is a methodological limitation that could potentially affect the overall generalizability or completeness of the findings. It gives us an exceptionally strong picture of what's within the WAS ecosystem, but it's important to remember it's not the entire universe of bioethics and medical ethics publications from Turkey.
Okay, good caveat. A strong snapshot, but maybe not the full panorama.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
All right, now that we understand the groundwork and the lens through which this study was conducted, let's look at the numbers. What does the statistical snapshot tell us about the actual landscape and volume of bioethics research activity in Turkey?
Okay, the stats. The headline numbers from this comprehensive analysis are quite telling. We're looking at 181 documents published between 1999 and 2023.
Right, the 181.
Disseminated across 116 different sources or journals. In terms of human capital, a total of 525 authors contributed to these documents.
525 authors on 181 papers.
Yeah, so an average of 3.56 authors per publication, indicating a strong trend towards collaborative research.
That makes sense for complex topics.
It does. And the international co-authorship rate was also a notable 13.26%, highlighting a growing embrace of cross-border intellectual partnerships.
And here's where it gets really interesting, giving us a powerful aha moment. The annual growth rate for these publications was calculated at an impressive 9.33%.
That's pretty significant growth.
That's not just a number. It represents a notable and sustained increase in publication activity over nearly 2.5 decades. It truly suggests that bioethics in Turkey isn't just holding steady. It's a blossoming, dynamic field, actively engaging with these critical ethical questions on an expanding scale.
Exactly. This sustained growth points to a strategic commitment and increasing intellectual infrastructure dedicated to bioethics within Turkey. And the academic influence of this work is also reflected in the citation impact. The analyzed documents contained a significant total of 5,479 references, with an average citation count of 8.221 per document. The average age of these documents was also around 8.21 years, giving us a good sense of their current relevance and ongoing engagement in academic discourse.
So the work is being read and cited.
Definitely. These metrics are robust and speak volumes about the vitality of the field.
Let's talk about trends over time. Looking at the chronology, what does the trajectory tell us about the publication and citation patterns over the years?
What stands out immediately is a very clear, general upward trend in the number of publications over the years.
Okay, steadily increasing.
Yeah, but we see a particularly significant and consistent increase in publication output observed since 2010.
Ah, so it accelerated then.
It did, and the peak arrived quite recently in the year 2021, which recorded the highest number of publications for any single year with 19 articles.
19 in 1 year.
Uh,
Highest ever.
Right. This demonstrates a field not only growing, but accelerating its output in recent times.
I'm already connecting the dots here, and I'm guessing you are too. The year 2021, highest number of publications. That sounds a lot like the profound influence of the COVID-19 pandemic,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
almost certainly.
What specific types of ethical questions did that global crisis bring to the forefront that would drive such a surge in bioethics research?
You're absolutely spot on. It's highly likely that this surge in 2021 was directly influenced by the influx of coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 related publications.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic presented an unprecedented wave of ethical dilemmas that demanded urgent academic attention. Think about issues like the ethical allocation of scarce resources. Who gets the last ventilator? Who gets priority for vaccines?
Yeah, those are huge debates.
Huge. There were profound questions around vaccine ethics, mandatory public health measures versus individual liberty, the ethical implications of contact tracing, data privacy in a pandemic,
Privacy was a big one.
and how to conduct clinical trials rapidly but ethically under pressure. These were all complex bioethical challenges that permeated every aspect of healthcare and society, directly shaping research priorities.
So a real-world event driving the research agenda.
Absolutely. And the total citation counts also fluctuated, but significantly reached their highest level in that same peak year of 2021,
Yeah.
indicating not just an increase in quantity of publications, but also highly impactful ones that were widely referenced.
So with all this activity, who are the key players driving this research in Turkey? Let's start with the institutions leading the charge.
Okay, the institutions. The data clearly shows the top universities making the most significant contributions in terms of publications. Ankara University ranks first with an impressive 37 publications,
37, wow.
making it a clear powerhouse in the field. Following closely behind are Hacettepe University with 18 and Istanbul University with 15 publications.
So those three are the big hubs.
They are unequivocally established centers of excellence for bioethics research within Turkey, likely fostering dedicated research groups and educational programs.
And once these researchers complete their work, where are they choosing to publish it? Which specific journals are the most frequently chosen outlets for this crucial discourse?
Looking at the data, medicine and law and nursing ethics stand out as the most frequently chosen outlets, each hosting 10 publications.
Medicine and law and nursing ethics. Interesting mix.
It is, and the Journal of Medical Ethics follows closely with 8 publications. This gives us a clear sense of where these important discussions are primarily being published, indicating the preferred forums for academic discourse and suggesting an interdisciplinary focus, bridging legal, nursing, and general medical ethical perspectives.
Beyond institutions and journals, who are the individual intellectual voices, the most prolific authors consistently shaping this field in Turkey.
The analysis identifies several highly productive individual contributors. Arda B. leads with an impressive 16 publications.
16 papers, that's a lot for one person.
It is, followed by Ekmekci P.E. with 12 and Akbanar A. with 6 publications. These individuals are clearly significant and sustained voices, contributing consistently to the body of knowledge and, through their work, shaping the direction and depth of bioethics research within Turkey.
Key figures, definitely.
They are likely key mentors and collaborators for emerging researchers, too.
It's also interesting to see the extent of international collaborations. With which countries is Turkey most frequently engaging on these complex bioethical issues? Does this tell us anything about shared challenges or intellectual networks?
Yeah, the collaboration aspect is interesting. The data showcases Turkey's leading role in terms of its own publication numbers, with 187 total publications.
Right.
But it also clearly demonstrates a robust engagement with other countries. Notably, there are 15 collaborations with the United States.
Okay, the U.S.
0 with India and 7 with Italy. This highlights the truly global interconnectedness of this research.
U.S., India, Italy. Any reason for those specific connections?
The study doesn't explicitly say why, but these collaborations suggest shared ethical challenges, perhaps a recognition of diverse perspectives, and the formation of international intellectual networks. Maybe these specific partnerships reflect established academic ties, complementary research strengths, or even shared ethical dilemmas arising from similar healthcare systems or societal dynamics.
Interesting.
It reinforces the idea that bioethical questions transcend national borders and require international dialogue and collaborative problem solving.
That statistical snapshot paints a clear picture of the who and where of bioethics research in Turkey. But what are they actually talking about? Let's dive into the core themes that researchers are focusing on, which we can uncover using that co-occurrence network analysis you mentioned.
Right, the co-occurrence analysis. It's a powerful linguistic tool. Imagine it like a map of a bustling city where the words themselves are landmarks.
Okay.
This analysis, as visualized in Figure 6, helps us identify thematic clusters like distinct neighborhoods by examining how frequently keywords appear together in the publications.
When words stick together.
Exactly. When words like informed consent and clinical trials are consistently linked, it signals a shared conceptual focus, revealing the underlying intellectual structure of the literature. This study identified 5 main thematic clusters in Turkey-based bioethics research, each representing a significant and active area of focus.
5 clusters. Let's start with cluster 1, the red cluster. This one focuses on clinical research and informed consent. Why is this such a critical and central area of focus in bioethics?
Well, this cluster is absolutely fundamental because it underpins the very ethical advancement of medical knowledge.
Right, you need research to advance.
Exactly. Clinical research, whether testing a new drug, a surgical technique, or a diagnostic tool, is indispensable for developing new treatments and understanding diseases. But it must be conducted with the highest ethical standards.
And informed consent being key.
Informed consent is paramount here. It ensures that participants are not simply subjects, but are fully informed about the nature, risks, and benefits of the research, and voluntarily agree to participate without coercion.
Protecting the participants.
Yes. This process protects their autonomy and rights, guarantees their safety, reinforces ethical compliance, and ultimately contributes to the scientific reliability and public trust in the research itself. It's about ensuring human dignity is upheld, even as we push the boundaries of scientific discovery.
Moving on to cluster 2, the blue cluster, medical education and ethics. This sounds like a foundational area for building a strong ethical healthcare system.
It truly is foundational. Ethical principles are not just theoretical concepts. They are integral to every single stage of medical practice.
From day one.
From a doctor's first patient interaction as a student to complex end-of-life decisions in advanced practice. So, ethics education is absolutely essential for medical students and professionals alike, serving as a guiding framework for their entire clinical careers.
So it shapes how doctors think and act.
Precisely. It's about shaping future medical practices and decision-making processes from the ground up, ensuring that compassionate, respectful, and ethically sound care is woven into the very fabric of medical training and professional identity. Without robust ethical education, medical advancement can outpace our moral preparedness.
Then we have cluster 3, the green cluster, bioethics and health policies. This sounds like it has a broader societal impact moving beyond the individual patient.
You're right. This cluster explores how bioethics profoundly shapes not just individual patient care, but broader health policies and public health practices.
Like what kind of things?
Think about topics like the establishment and function of bioethics committees, which review and approve research protocols to ensure ethical standards, or the intricate ethical considerations that go into shaping public health policies, especially during crises.
Like with COVID again.
Exactly. Balancing individual liberties with collective well-being. Even the ethics surrounding social media usage by healthcare professionals, privacy, professionalism, the spread of misinformation falls under this umbrella.
Right, social media ethics is huge now.
These discussions help safeguard ethical standards across the entire healthcare system. In a country like Turkey, these conversations provide a vital foundation for ensuring that healthcare services are delivered fairly and ethically across the population, and they serve as guiding frameworks for strategic public health decisions that ultimately benefit everyone.
Now, cluster 4, the purple cluster, might seem a bit surprising to some given the broad scope of bioethics, anatomy, and research ethics. Why is the use of cadavers such a significant and frequently discussed area for ethical consideration?
Well, while it might seem niche, the use of cadavers in anatomy studies and surgical training is a fundamental and indispensable component of medical education and research.
Can't really learn anatomy without them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
However, the very act of dissection and cadaver utilization inherently introduces profound ethical sensitivities. It's not just about scientific necessity. It's about respecting the deceased and their families, ensuring dignity, and honoring their anatomical donation.
So respect for the donor is key.
Absolutely. Discussions here revolve around ensuring that such studies are conducted in strict accordance with ethical standards, encompassing proper consent for donation, respectful handling, and appropriate disposal. This is crucial for maintaining both research integrity and the quality of medical education. And adherence to guiding ethical principles helps prevent violations and ensures that these essential practices are carried out with the utmost respect for human remains.
And finally, Cluster 5, the Orange Cluster, addresses a deeply sensitive and universal topic: bioethics and end-of-life issues. This touches on some of the most profound human experiences.
It really does. This cluster encompasses critically sensitive topics such as death, euthanasia, and the myriad of complex end-of-life care decisions that patients, their families, and healthcare providers frequently face.
Incredibly difficult situations.
Exactly. These issues are ethically sensitive precisely because they touch upon fundamental human values, personal autonomy, quality of life, and the very definition of a good death. They require in-depth discussions on patient rights, balancing pain management with mental clarity, navigating the complexities of medical futility, and compassionately managing the dying process.
How do ethical principles help here?
Bioethical principles in this area, like respect for autonomy, beneficence, and non-maleficence, ensure that these incredibly difficult decisions are made fairly, respectfully, and ethically, always prioritizing the well-being and dignity of patients and their families, and providing guidance in moments of profound vulnerability.
So if we connect these 5 clusters, it's abundantly clear that each of these themes, from the very start of clinical innovation to the sensitive decisions at the end of life, is absolutely critical for maintaining high ethical standards across all aspects of healthcare service delivery and medical research.
Absolutely. They are, in essence, the foundational pillars upon which trustworthy and humane medical practice is built, ensuring that as medicine advances, our moral compass remains strong.
Now that we've explored the main themes being researched, let's dig into the most influential voices and ideas in this field through co-citation analysis. This is where we truly begin to see the intellectual bedrock, the foundational works that shape how researchers think and where the conversations begin.
Right, the co-citation analysis. It's a fascinating and powerful technique because it identifies key studies and influential authors by looking at which documents are consistently cited together by subsequent researchers.
So if papers keep getting cited together.
Exactly. When 2 or more documents frequently appear in the same reference lists across numerous publications, it strongly suggests they form a common intellectual foundation for ongoing research. It's like discovering the intellectual lineage of an idea, seeing the academic conversations happening at a deeper, more structural level.
So what are these foundational texts, especially the ones tied to the red cluster in Figure 7? What are the cornerstones of bioethics thought that resonate within Turkey's research?
Okay, this cluster is primarily centered around what many consider a global cornerstone in the field: Beauchamp and Childress's Principles of Biomedical Ethics from 2009.
Yes, Beauchamp and Childress, that's huge everywhere, right?
It is. It's an incredibly influential text that comprehensively discusses core medical ethics principles, autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice, which have become the common language for bioethical deliberation worldwide.
The 4 principles.
Exactly. What's particularly insightful here is how this universal text is cited alongside studies that are highly relevant to Turkey's specific context. For example, Elciolu et al.'s 2003 work examined historical books and journals on medical deontology and ethics during the early Republic of Turkey era.
So looking back at their own history.
Precisely, providing a vital national historical perspective. Similarly, a Deniz 2003 article specifically focused on respect for patient autonomy within the Turkish medical context.
Okay.
The frequent co-citation of these works demonstrates how universal principles are being applied, interpreted, and discussed locally, emphasizing the enduring importance of patient rights and the evolution of ethical thought within Turkey's medical discourse.
All right, let's get to the specifics from the source paper. According to Table 1, what's the single most cited study in this entire body of work from Turkey-affiliated authors?
Okay, the top cited one. It's by Iwanaga et al. From 2021, and it focuses on a deeply practical and ethically sensitive area: human cadaveric tissues, and specifically the appropriate acknowledgement of donors.
Back to the anatomy ethics cluster.
Exactly. This study is highly significant because it underscores that anatomical sciences, which are fundamental to medical education and surgical innovation, heavily rely on human cadavers for research and training.
Can't do without them.
Right. As the paper points out, without these invaluable donations, much human anatomy research would simply come to a standstill. The article highlights a critical, often overlooked, need for standardizing acknowledgments and recognition for these donors.
So giving credit where it's due, essentially.
In a very profound way. To address this, an impressive global initiative was launched. 19 chief editors from 16 leading anatomical journals collaborated to develop formal recommendations on how to properly honor cadaveric donors in research publications.
19 editors working together, that's quite something.
It is. And this isn't just about professional courtesy. It's a profound ethical intervention aimed at recognizing the immense gift these donors provide, encouraging future donations, and ultimately advancing both anatomical sciences and, by extension, patient care globally. It's about instilling a culture of gratitude and respect in scientific endeavors.
And Iwanaga et al. Followed up with another highly cited work in 2022, the second most cited, which sounds like it directly built on that initial effort. Was this another collaborative push for ethical standards?
Exactly. The 2022 Iwanaga et al. Study is a direct, impactful follow-up. It delves further into the ethical aspects of using human cadaver tissues and articulates the necessity of developing a truly standardized acknowledgement statement that can be uniformly applied.
Making it standard practice.
Right. This time, an even larger international collaboration took place, involving 22 chief editors from anatomical journals spanning 17 different countries. Their goal was to establish a standardized and simplified ethical language for recognizing these donations.
So making it easier to do the right thing.
Precisely. This effort is expected to not only enhance the credibility and ethical integrity of anatomical research, but also encourage uniform terminology across other scientific and educational disciplines that utilize cadaveric tissues, including how they are represented in medical media. It directly ties into that anatomy and research ethics cluster we just discussed, showing a consistent global focus on this nuanced area, moving from recognizing the problem to proposing a concrete, standardized solution.
Okay, now let's shift gears to something that's on everyone's mind, and rightly so, artificial intelligence. The third most cited study, Keskin-Bora KH from 2019, specifically addresses the ethical challenges of AI in medical ethics. What were the key takeaways from that crucial work?
This study delves into the inherent ethical complexities of AI systems, particularly within healthcare. It importantly notes that while AI models are designed to incorporate specific values and choices, for instance, in diagnostic algorithms or treatment recommendations, their practical implementation is entirely reliant on the human engineer's programming.
So the human bias can creep in.
Exactly. The crucial and frankly concerning point here is that errors or biases in AI algorithm development can lead to unintended, potentially harmful consequences for patients and healthcare systems.
Right.
Therefore, the study emphasizes the critical need for implementing robust preventive measures, constant vigilant monitoring of technological advancements, and crucially, safeguarding individuals from any form of direct or indirect coercion that AI systems might enable.
Coercion by AI? How?
Well, for example, through subtle data-driven nudging or manipulative prompts designed to influence choices.
Ah, okay.
It makes a very strong and timely call for ethicists and philosophers to be actively involved from the outset of AI development in medicine, not just as an afterthought.
Get them in early.
Absolutely. Their expertise is vital in guiding ethical considerations in AI applications, designing safeguards, and anticipating potential harms to truly prevent negative outcomes, rather than reacting to them. This isn't just an option. It's a foundational requirement for responsible AI integration into healthcare.
That's a powerful point about involving ethicists early in the design process. And the fifth most cited study by Savaner et al. From 2022 also directly tackles AI, but from the perspective of its potential impact on future physicians and the urgent need to restructure medical education curricula.
Right, looking at the next generation.
What specific insights did they uncover, especially from the students themselves?
This study is incredibly insightful because it directly surveyed medical students, providing a unique perspective from the generation that will be working most closely with AI. They found that while AI is largely perceived by students as a powerful tool that can facilitate access to information, 85.8% saw this benefit.
Oh, so you'd see the benefits?
Enhanced patient access to healthcare, 76.7%.
Yeah.
And even significantly reduced medical errors, 70.5%. There are also significant underlying concerns.
Ah, but there's a but.
A big but. Approximately half of the participants worried about AI reducing job opportunities for physicians, 44.9%.
Yeah, you hear that concern.
A substantial majority felt it might devalue the medical profession, 58.6%. And a significant portion expressed concerns about AI undermining trust in medical practice, 45.5%, and negatively impacting the crucial doctor-patient relationship, 42.7%.
Those are some profoundly serious concerns coming directly from the people who will be integrating this technology into their daily practice. It highlights a real tension between the perceived benefits and potential threats.
They are, and perhaps the most striking finding, revealing a critical ethical and practical gap, was that only a tiny percentage, just 6.0% of the participants, reported having sufficient knowledge to confidently inform patients about the features, benefits, and, crucially, the risks of AI in their care.
Only 6% felt equipped to explain AI risks.
Wow, shockingly low, right? This highlights a profound and urgent need for more robust, integrated training on AI applications, strategies for error reduction and mitigation, and comprehensive education on preventing and resolving the complex ethical challenges arising from AI use.
So, med schools need to step up.
Absolutely. The study unequivocally underscores the urgency to update medical curricula globally, but especially in Turkey, to prepare future healthcare professionals for these AI-driven transformations in a way that prioritizes patient safety, trust, and ethical practice.
Before we leave the digital age, the fourth most cited study by Afshai et al. From 2015 looks at social media usage and attitudes among medical students. What ethical issues did they uncover there, especially given the widespread nature of social media today?
This study revealed a significant ethical blind spot. It found that while social media use is incredibly widespread among medical students, 93.4% reported overall use, and a remarkable 89.3% claimed to use it for professional purposes.
Nearly everyone's using it professionally.
Almost everyone. But the vast majority were largely unaware of the potential ethical issues associated with its use.
Really? Like what kind of issues? Privacy?
Privacy, professionalism, blurring boundaries, sharing inappropriate information, even unintentional breaches of confidentiality. This is a huge ethical gap, particularly for future healthcare professionals who will be dealing with sensitive patient information.
Yes, that's concerning.
It emphasizes the urgent necessity of developing clear, comprehensive social media guidelines, specifically for medical professionals. These guidelines are crucial to ensure patient confidentiality, maintain professional boundaries, prevent the accidental or intentional misuse of information in the digital sphere, and generally uphold the integrity and trustworthiness of the medical profession in an increasingly online world.
It's clear that technology, from advanced AI to everyday social media, is rapidly creating new ethical landscapes that demand attention. Beyond these top 5, what other significant and diverse ethical issues are being explored and frequently cited within this body of work from Turkey?
Oh, the source lists several other fascinating and ethically rich areas, highlighting the breadth of concerns. For instance, Ullman et al. In 2015 examined ethical issues in neuromarketing.
Neuromarketing, using brain scans for marketing.
Essentially, yes. This emerging practice uses neuroimaging techniques, like fMRI, to study consumers' brain responses to marketing stimuli. The researchers highlighted numerous ethical uncertainties surrounding this field,
I can imagine.
such as the potential for manipulation if marketers can directly target subconscious desires, the implications for informed consent when measuring unconscious brain activity, and profound questions about the privacy of brain data.
The privacy of your brain data.
Wow.
Right. They called for expanded public discourse and the urgent establishment of interdisciplinary scientific committees, or ethics boards, to specifically address neuromarketing and uphold core ethical principles like non-maleficence, beneficence, autonomy, primacy, and the crucial protection of vulnerable populations.
That sounds like a cutting-edge ethical frontier. What about gene editing, which has such profound implications for humanity itself? Absolutely. Ayanolu et al. From 2020 addressed the complex bioethical issues of CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology.
CRISPR, yeah.
While it offers immense promise for treating genetic diseases, the study also highlights concerns like unwanted immune responses and, critically, significant ethical debates surrounding its application to human germline cells and embryos.
Editing the human gene pool.
Exactly. This raises profound questions about unintended genetic modifications that could be passed down generations, the ability to obtain truly informed consent for such irreversible changes, and the historical specter of eugenics. They also considered broader environmental and agricultural impacts. The authors made a strong case for the urgent development of robust global regulatory frameworks to guide the responsible and ethical use of this powerful technology.
And what about issues of equity and resource exploitation, specifically in the context of traditional knowledge?
Efrath et al. in 2016 tackled the critical issue of biopiracy.
Biopiracy, explain that.
Imagine a scenario where a remote indigenous community has used a specific plant for generations to treat a certain ailment, passing down this traditional knowledge orally.
Okay.
A large pharmaceutical company then discovers this plant, isolates its active compound, patents it, and brings it to market, potentially making billions, all without acknowledging, compensating, or involving the indigenous community whose knowledge made it possible.
Ah, so stealing traditional knowledge.
That's the essence of it. Biopiracy. The exploitation of biological resources and traditional knowledge from local communities without fair and equitable benefit sharing. The study specifically highlighted pharmaceutical companies patenting herbal products without recognizing indigenous knowledge.
And what did they recommend?
It proposed crucial recommendations for prevention and equitable use of resources by encouraging ethical bioprospecting practices, ensuring that if we tap into these invaluable traditional medicines, the originators are recognized and fairly benefit from their contributions. It's a powerful call for global justice in health innovation and resource management.
That's a clear ethical violation. What about the ethics surrounding the pharmaceutical industry's sales practices?
Sivonner, from 2012, explored the sales strategies of pharmaceutical companies, particularly within Turkey. This study revealed a spectrum of tactics, ranging from legal but ethically ambiguous marketing strategies to outright illegal ones.
Like what kind of tactics?
It found that companies often exploit the educational and infrastructural needs of healthcare providers and facilities, offering various incentives. The study also highlighted physicians' vulnerability to these influences due to factors like overconfidence in their own objectivity and, crucially, insufficient training in discerning ethical marketing from inappropriate inducements.
So doctors can be influenced without realizing it?
Potentially, yes. The study suggested important interventions such as the development of a strong national pharmaceutical policy, reducing physicians' exposure to marketing, and addressing their educational needs to build resilience against unethical influences. This is vital because these sales strategies can profoundly impact prescribing choices, potentially leading to higher costs or less appropriate treatments for patients, thus compromising ethical patient care.
Finally, what about the more psychological or emotional aspects of patient care?
Alcalar et al. In 2012 investigated patient psychology in cancer treatment, specifically the intricate relationship between depression levels, coping styles, and cognitive distortions in women undergoing breast cancer treatment.
The mental side of cancer treatment.
Exactly. Their findings suggested that depression is closely linked to specific cognitive patterns, like rumination or catastrophic thinking, and often co-occurs with anxiety. Crucially, they found it was inversely related to what they termed a fighting spirit, a patient's will to actively participate in their recovery and maintain a positive outlook.
So mindset matters.
Immensely. From an ethical standpoint, this research underscores the importance of a holistic approach to patient care, recognizing that emotional and psychological well-being are as vital as physical treatment.
Treating the whole person.
Precisely. It highlights the ethical imperative for healthcare providers to address not just the disease, but the patient's entire experience, including their mental health and coping mechanisms, to truly support their autonomy and quality of life throughout their medical journey.
It's clear that the field in Turkey is grappling with an incredibly wide array of diverse and complex ethical concerns, from the foundational principles to the cutting edge and the deeply human.
It really is. And if we briefly connect this back to the broader co-citation clusters from Figure 7, we also see how these diverse topics tie into larger intellectual frameworks.
Right, the other clusters.
Beyond the foundational texts we mentioned, there's an orange cluster around corporate governance and business ethics, showing a crucial link between medical ethics and broader institutional ethical standards. A purple cluster focuses specifically on the ethical sensitivities of physicians in Turkey and the nuanced ethical decision-making process in clinical settings, demonstrating a direct and vital focus on professional practice. And a green cluster is specifically on ethics in oncology nursing. This mapping demonstrates a holistic view that covers both the theoretical foundations of bioethics and its very practical, direct applications across various healthcare professions and administrative levels.
So we've seen the who, the where, and the what. Now let's talk about the when. How are these interests evolving over time? What does a trend topic analysis tell us about the shifting sands of bioethics research and where the intellectual currents are flowing?
Okay, the trend topic analysis, Figure 5, This is essentially like mapping the intellectual fashion changes of a field over time.
Intellectual fashion, I like that.
Yeah. It illustrates how academic publications in bioethics and related disciplines have focused on specific concepts over different periods, highlighting evolving research trends and priorities. It allows us to distinguish between topics that were temporarily in vogue, those that have remained consistently relevant, and those that are just now emerging onto the scene, giving us a fingerprint of a field's attention.
So what were some of the more historical concepts that were highly discussed in earlier years, but then perhaps saw decline or stabilization in attention?
In the earlier years of the analysis, particularly around 1999, concepts like examinations and virginity were notably high on the research agenda.
Virginity examinations.
That seems likely, yeah. However, their academic interest later saw a decline or stabilization over the subsequent years. This pattern suggests that these topics likely gained intense but temporary attention due to specific societal debates, legal changes, or perhaps policy shifts unique to that period in Turkey.
So reflecting specific social issues at the time?
Probably. For instance, virginity might have been discussed in the context of legal or medical examinations for marriage, employment, or specific cultural practices, reflecting a particular moment in societal ethical discourse, but not a sustained long-term research focus.
And what about concepts that have proven to be persistently relevant, maintaining long-term discussion across decades? These must be fundamental.
Absolutely. Confidentiality, for example, was a consistently discussed topic spanning from 2005 to 2016.
Confidentiality is always relevant.
Always. This reflects the enduring and foundational significance of patient privacy and data security in bioethics, which remains a core ethical concern regardless of technological advancements. Similarly, stem cell research and its profound ethical implications gained significant and sustained academic attention between 2009 and 2017.
Stem cells were huge then.
Right. This was clearly driven by rapid scientific advancements in regenerative medicine and novel therapeutic applications in that domain. These topics didn't just appear and disappear, they held sustained relevance, indicating ongoing challenges and breakthroughs.
It sounds like some core ethical principles are simply evergreen, always needing reevaluation. What about concepts that have been broadly discussed and seem continuously relevant, almost constants in the field, transcending specific technological shifts?
You're right. Some ethical principles are truly constants. Ethical, medical ethics itself as a foundational concept has been intensively discussed from 2012 to 2022.
Just the core idea of ethics.
Exactly. This broad and continuous focus indicates that fundamental ethical principles and practices remain absolutely core concerns in medical research and clinical practice. Similarly, health rights has been a consistent and key subject from 2012 to 2022.
Health and rights.
Reflecting ongoing global concerns regarding healthcare inequalities, equitable access, and the fundamental rights of patients to quality care. These are enduring pillars of bioethical discourse that are constantly reevaluated in the face of new challenges.
And drilling down further, what are some of the key specific topics that have been consistently debated, reflecting persistent dilemmas in clinical practice?
Topics such as confidentiality consent, consistently from 2005 to 2020.
Confidentiality and consent together.
Yeah, they often go hand in hand. And clinical patient healthcare from 2010 to 2023 have been among the most frequently debated bioethical issues. This underscores their critical and continuous role in both everyday clinical practice and the ethics of medical research.
The heart of the doctor-patient relationship.
Pretty much. They are at the very heart of the patient-provider relationship, dictating how information is shared, how decisions are made, and how care is delivered ethically and respectfully. These represent the ongoing practical application of ethical theory.
Now, for the exciting part, what are the new and increasingly relevant concepts, the ones that are clearly shaping the future of the field, reflecting emerging societal and technological shifts?
Okay, the emerging trends. One of the most prominent is artificial intelligence, which has rapidly become a central theme from 2020 to 2022.
AI again, big surge there.
Huge surge. This directly emphasizes AI's growing importance in medical applications, from diagnostics to drug discovery, and the complex, novel ethical challenges it presents, aligning directly with the top-cited studies we discussed earlier.
Yeah, it all connects.
Its rapid real-world adoption has created a regulatory and ethical vacuum that demands urgent attention.
And it's not just technology driving these new trends, is it? Reproductive women, with a surge in academic interest from 2022 to 2023, also stands out.
That's right. This surge in interest in reproductive women reflects ongoing and evolving debates about reproductive autonomy, access to reproductive health care, and broader women's health ethics.
These are always complex issues.
Always. These discussions are constantly influenced by societal changes, legal frameworks, and advancements in fertility technologies or genetic screening. It highlights a dynamic area where personal rights, medical capabilities, and societal values are in constant negotiation.
And looking even further ahead.
Looking ahead, the source also points to quality, biology, synthetic from 2020 to 2024 as expected to emerge as significant areas.
Synthetic biology, creating new life forms.
Potentially. It's closely linked to rapid advancements in biotechnology, particularly in synthetic biology, the design and construction of new biological parts, devices, and systems. The ethical implications here are profound, ranging from questions about creating new life forms and potential biorisks to dual-use concerns, where beneficial technologies could be misused, and the environmental impact of synthetic organisms. It strongly suggests that the very boundaries of life itself will continue to be a fertile and challenging ground for ethical inquiry.
So how do these findings, this trend analysis, become relevant to you, our listener, beyond just academic curiosity? What does this shifting intellectual landscape mean for policy and practice on the ground?
That's the key question, right? These findings are anything but academic only. They have tangible, real-world implications. This detailed trend analysis offers a vital guiding framework for policymakers, regulatory bodies, and ethics committees within Turkey.
How so?
By understanding precisely what academic trends are gaining momentum and which research priorities are dominating, these bodies can develop more proactive, participatory, transparent, and accountable decision-making processes in the field of bioethics and medical ethics.
So it helps them anticipate issues.
Exactly. For example, knowing that AI ethics is a rapidly growing area means policymakers can prioritize drafting regulations for algorithmic accountability or patient data protection. Identifying emerging trends like synthetic biology allows them to anticipate future ethical dilemmas and initiate public discourse before new technologies become widespread.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Hopefully. It means they can be more responsive to emerging challenges and ensure that regulations and healthcare policies reflect the most current and forward-thinking ethical considerations, ultimately shaping a more ethical and just healthcare system for everyone.
So we've covered the themes and the trends, giving us a robust understanding of what is being researched. Now let's look at how bioethics research is actually being conducted in Turkey. What's the predominant methodological mix, and does it align with global approaches to studying these complex ethical dilemmas?
Okay, the how. The study meticulously categorized publications into 4 main methodological groups, as outlined in Table 2. Quantitative research, qualitative research, secondary research methods, primarily reviews, and case reports.
Can you quickly recap those? Quantitative versus qualitative.
Sure. Quantitative research primarily aims to quantify data and generalize findings, often involving numerical data collection and statistical analysis to identify patterns and correlations.
Numbers and stats.
Right. Qualitative research, on the other hand, collects non-numerical data like interviews, observations, to gain deep, nuanced understanding of human experiences, behaviors, and motivations.
Stories and experiences.
Exactly. Reviews are literature-based studies that systematically synthesize existing knowledge
Summarizing what's already known.
to provide a comprehensive overview of a topic. And case reports focus on in-depth examinations of individual instances or rare clinical scenarios.
Got it. And what did they find regarding the dominance of certain approaches in Turkey's bioethics research landscape?
The statistics are quite striking. Review articles have emerged as the single most prevalent methodology, accounting for a significant 57.14% of all publications.
Over half are reviews.
Over half, with 80 dedicated review publications. This indicates a very strong emphasis within Turkey's bioethics community on systematic evaluations, comprehensive literature syntheses, and theory building based on existing knowledge.
Okay, lots of summarizing and synthesizing. What about quantitative?
Quantitative studies follow, accounting for a substantial 31.43%, or 44 publications. These particularly gained prominence and saw an increase in output in 2020, 2021, and 2023.
So more number crunching recently.
Yeah, suggesting an increased interest in data analysis, surveys, and what the study calls methodological diversification within this quantitative realm, perhaps reflecting a growing push for empirical validation of ethical issues.
So reviews and quantitative studies are clearly leading the pack. But what about the other methodologies? Were they as prevalent, or is there a noticeable gap?
Unfortunately, there's a very clear and significant gap. The study highlights that qualitative studies remained relatively
Oh,
limited,
limited.
accounting for only 6.43% of the publications, with just 9 instances recorded.
Only 9 qualitative studies. That's tiny.
It is. This suggests a notable lack of focus on in-depth qualitative analysis in Turkey's bioethics and medical ethics research. Similarly, case reports, which offer deep insights into unique or complex ethical dilemmas in clinical practice, had the lowest share, at 5.0%, with only 7 publications.
Wow. So mostly reviews and quantitative work.
Right. This trend points to a predominance of systematic literature reviews and quantitative analyses, with qualitative and case-based approaches being relatively neglected.
That's a fascinating insight. How does this compare to, say, broader European trends in bioethics research? Is this pattern of methodological dominance unique to Turkey, or is it part of a wider trend?
That's an excellent question, and the source makes a direct comparison that's really illuminating. A study by Wang Mo and Provost in 2017, which surveyed researchers from leading bioethics and medical ethics centers across 12 European countries, found a significantly different picture.
How different?
In Europe, approximately 60% of bioethics researchers reported utilizing both qualitative and quantitative methods in their work.
60% using both.
Yeah. Furthermore, a substantial 33% relied exclusively on qualitative methods. And in their latest projects, 51% of those European researchers reported actively using qualitative methods.
Wow, that is a stark contrast indeed. So what's the implication of that difference for bioethics research in Turkey? What is potentially being missed by this underrepresentation of qualitative studies?
This stark contrast highlights that the findings from the European study strongly suggest there is a clear and pressing need for more widespread methodological training in Turkey, especially in qualitative research approaches and the software used for qualitative data analysis.
They need more training in qualitative methods.
It seems so. Expanding these training programs in bioethics could significantly enhance the methodological diversity and depth of the field. What's missed by the underrepresentation of qualitative research is profound. Qualitative methods are crucial for capturing the lived experience of patients and healthcare providers.
The human side of ethics.
Exactly. The nuances of informed consent when facing a life-altering diagnosis, the emotional complexities of end-of-life decisions, the trust dynamics in doctor-patient relationships, or the moral distress faced by frontline clinicians.
Things numbers don't always capture.
Precisely. Without these deeper human-centered insights, our understanding of bioethics risks remaining somewhat theoretical, missing the crucial perspectives that truly inform ethical practice, policy, and compassionate care. Qualitative research brings the human story to the numbers and the literature reviews, providing a richer, more actionable understanding of ethical dilemmas.
And finally, was there any limitation regarding the scope of the ethics explored in these publications? Did the study predominantly capture all types of bioethics, or was there a particular focus that might mean other areas are underrepresented?
This is another important point the study emphasizes, and a key finding about the field's current focus in Turkey. The methodological framework was based on a search conducted in the WellUS database using the keywords bioethic and medical ethic.
Right, those specific keywords.
Which, by their very nature, largely capture human-centered ethical literature. As a result, topics like environmental ethics were found in only one study.
Only one on environmental ethics.
Just one. And animal ethics in only 4 studies within the Turkey-affiliated publications.
So very little on environmental or animal ethics.
Very little. This indicates that while ethical relationships unique to veterinary medicine are acknowledged, the dataset's content characteristics led to a primary focus on human health-oriented ethical publications. This reflects both the search strategy employed and, importantly, the current low representation of these broader ethical topics in the national literature.
So an area for potential growth.
Definitely. It highlights a potential area for significant future expansion in the field of bioethics in Turkey, aligning with global discussions around One Health and the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental well-being.
We've journeyed through a comprehensive deep dive today, exploring the intellectual landscape of bioethics and medical ethics research originating from Turkey. We've examined its impressive growth, identified the key players and institutions driving this vital work, dissected the dominant themes occupying researchers' minds, explored the most influential research that shapes the discourse, and even analyzed the specific methodological approaches currently shaping the field.
And what we found is a truly dynamic and growing field in Turkey, showing a steady and significant increase in publication volume over time, particularly since 2010.
Right, that acceleration.
This growth clearly reflects a robust responsiveness to global events, such as the profound ethical challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, which spurred rapid academic contributions.
We saw that central themes consistently revolve around crucial, enduring issues like patient rights, the foundational importance of medical ethics education, ensuring truly informed consent in healthcare, and navigating the complex ethical considerations in clinical research and sensitive end-of-life care decisions.
Absolutely. These are clearly the enduring pillars of bioethical discourse in the region.
Yet, the field is anything but static. Our analysis highlighted the rapid emergence of new ethical challenges, particularly those related to artificial intelligence and advanced biotechnologies like CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing.
Yeah, the cutting-edge stuff. This demonstrates the field's impressive agility and responsiveness in addressing contemporary and future ethical concerns arising from rapid scientific innovation.
However, our deep dive also revealed a clear and significant opportunity for methodological diversification. Qualitative research, in particular, is notably underrepresented compared to international trends.
That methodological gap was striking. This suggests a crucial need for incorporating more in-depth, human-centered, qualitative studies to gain richer, more nuanced insights into the lived experiences of ethical dilemmas.
So why does all this matter to you, our listener? Understanding this comprehensive research map helps you grasp not just what ethical discussions are happening in medicine, but how they are evolving, who is leading them, and crucially, why certain topics gain prominence.
Exactly. It's about recognizing how society, through its academic and healthcare institutions, actively grapples with the accelerating pace of medical advancement and the profound, often challenging ethical questions it constantly raises for all of us.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Given the consistent interest in patient rights and medical education, and the rapid emergence of topics like AI in medicine, how can future bioethics research, particularly in Turkey, strategically prioritize areas that are well established internationally, like environmental or animal ethics, but haven't yet been fully explored locally?
That's a great question.
And at the same time, how can it more effectively embrace a wider range of methodological approaches, especially qualitative studies, to gain even deeper, more profound insights into these complex ethical dilemmas that touch every aspect of human life?
What steps might you take to stay informed or even contribute to these vital conversations? It's a field that touches everyone, from policymakers to individual patients, and understanding its landscape is a powerful tool for informed engagement.
Something certainly to mull over. We encourage you to consider what stood out to you in this deep dive, what further questions it sparked, and to look for further explorations of these vital topics.